The year is 2018. Nations are divided, paranoia runs rampant, and as soon as you think you're safe, facts become subjective.
You are listening to Conspiracy Facts. Alright guys, what's up and welcome to
Conspiracy Facts.
Conspiracy Facts, the show where I don't know the name of my own podcast.
What's a podcast?
I am your co-host, Ty Turner.
And I'm your primary host, Dillon.
Okay.
It's my podcast.
I guess so. I guess that's what we're doing now.
Thanks to all my Patreon subscribers.
Yeah. Wow, we got competing Patreons both for the same podcast.
it's a cost cutting measure.
That's pretty smart. It's
Yep.
Good business facts. All right, guys. This week's episode is going to be all about spooky ALMAO aliens.
Hey, LMAO.
Extraterrestrials.
Yeah, I always think it's funny that aliens always tend to do they like party rock anthem? Is that why they're always like, hey, LMAO?
Yeah, I think so.
And they just don't like to cuss either.
They got one transmission from Earth once. It was the only one that made it that far.
Party rock anthem.
It was party rock anthem.
They don't realize that fuck is a word, so they just take F out of LMFAO. It's just LMAO.
Exactly. That's the fact.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So I just got back home, to good old Arkansas, from a
Walmart.
Real far away.
I went to get groceries in New Mexico.
Yeah, so I took a trip to New Mexico. My sister is an ultra marathon runner, and she had a big old race over there.
An ultra race.
An ultra race. And so I went over there along with my mother and Christy Sanchez, and you've seen her. She goes here.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah. In passing, I've seen her.
Yeah.
We may have chatted in the hallway once.
Could have been. What? Okay. So yeah, the race was in New Mexico. We went over there and fucked around, and then we kind of just drove everywhere. So since we were already in New Mexico, we decided to go to Roswell. Went and did that. Got stoned as fuck and fucking played with some aliens. That's one of the best days I've had in a very long time.
Aliens, damn,
They were there, so they go there for like promotional reasons.
Okay.
So while I was there, I stopped at the Roswell.
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 I was
like,
like,
y'all from-
Roswell alien compound. Area 51.
Oh, yep, that's where I went. So we went to this like museum, and I learned some shady shit about all the Roswell stuff, and I just wasn't sure if those were actually the facts.
Until now, where we discuss the true facts.
The true alien facts of Roswell.
Yeah.
So yeah, the trip went well. You know, we saw some fucking aliens and shit. Oh, and shout out, if you're listening, to the two people who came in and said hi to me. That was very nice. I was like vlogging on the street, like on the way to the museum, and some people saw me and recognized me, and they literally came in and like bought tickets to the museum to say hi to me. And I was like, oh my God, thanks.
That's awesome.
So shout out to y'all.
I love when people recognize me in public.
By your voice.
Yeah, typically it's like friends of my mom though, but like, Dillon? Oh, hi!
Yeah, I haven't seen you since you were
Have
this
you
tall.
gotten taller?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Never once in my life.
See, this is one of those jokes that it would really help if you could see him.
Because I am a baby sized. I still weigh 9 pounds 3 ounces.
He's comedically large.
Hey, tall.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Lengthwise, not width.
Comedically large.
Yeah, I guess large just sort of implies that. Sorry, man.
No, I'm giving you shit. I don't care. I'm not large no more. Now I'm moderate.
Fuck,
I'm no longer obese on the BMI.
Were you obese?
Yeah.
That's wild.
I was 280.
Yeah, so, but at like 7 feet tall, isn't that about right?
Yeah, I mean I don't trust BMI a whole lot, but I like whenever I saw obese, I'm like, yeah, I need to do something.
Yeah. You're like, this is my time.
Yeah.
I feel that.
It's my time to go.
Well, you did really good.
Yeah. I need to do good again.
That's very cool. Are you still keto?
No, I've taken a break from that, but I still like, I don't eat out as much, and I still...
Computer's doing some weird thing.
Quit doing some stupid things, computer. I mean, it's keep it up. It's just...
I think it's just lagging visually.
Yeah. But anyways, Roswell.
Hey. Hey, don't yell like that. Freak me out.
What?
This is our ASMR podcast. So today we're going to talk about some Roswell facts. No, I'm going to edit all of that out.
ASMR.
Delete the whole podcast.
Yeah, delete from here.
Guys, we are on iTunes now.
Check us out.
Check us out. You're listening to this, and you might actually be listening to it on iTunes, in which case, cool.
In which case,
great.
Search for it again.
Yeah, give us a few more views.
How much is it on iTunes?
It's free.
It's free?
It's free on iTunes for anyone who wants it, so fuck.
That's great. So if you want to pay for it, pay us.
Yeah, if you want to pay for it, go to the Patreon. We'll talk about all that here in a minute. Right now, I think we should get started with our Roswell alien facts. So I'm going to give you like a brief rundown of what happened, and this is sort of going off of what I learned at the museum, or what I learned after the museum, because I just took a pamphlet because I was too high to understand anything that was going on.
Yeah, no,
I just was mostly looking at the pictures and the alien stuff they had set up, and then I took a pamphlet and studied that in the car.
Gotcha.
So the dates aren't... So I also watched a BuzzFeed Unsolved video about Roswell.
Ah, gotcha. So you're
and
an
the
expert.
dates conflict. Yeah, exactly. So I know everything. The dates from the museum don't line up with the dates in the BuzzFeed video, so I'm just going to assume that the museum is right.
I thought you were going to say the museum's wrong.
Yeah.
Like,
just take a safe guess.
Just fact checking. We're going to go Wikipedia over Encyclopedia Britannica.
Yeah, so Wikipedia says that the Men in Black are actually... They're... Oh, man, I'm blanking.
Like a 1999 hit film starring Will Smith and the other guy?
The other guy? Yeah, that's exactly right.
No.
Okay. So, Roswell, in the summer of 1947.
Okay.
Some say June. Some say July.
Uh-huh.
Something.
Early summer.
Yeah. Midsummer.
Is that midsummer?
Yeah, June, July.
June, okay. Okay, yeah.
Some point in the summer.
After the summer solstice.
Good Christ. We're not even halfway through our first fact. This is a real fact. Something crashes. No question about that. Just outside of Roswell, New Mexico, on Foster Ranch. And a local rancher sees it, and his name is
Albert Einstein?
Albert Einstein, and he grew up to be Albert Einstein. His name is...
The whole room clapped.
They all stood up. My teacher left. Oh my god. Okay. His name was Mac Brazil. Maybe it was Mac Brazel. I like the sound of Mac Brazel.
Mac Brazel.
So Mac Brazel...
What's up, Mac Brazel?
Mac Brazel was his MC name, and he went out to spit some funky fresh beats with the aliens.
Yeah, with the aliens.
He heard their beeps and their boops, and they thought, wow, that makes a fine-ass rhythm.
This isn't human music.
Exactly. So Mac Brazel goes out to the ranch the next day, and I think he took a kid with him. Could have been, could have not been.
Like just a random kid?
No, I think he knew the kid.
Okay.
It was like someone who helped him out, or maybe a relative.
Yeah.
So he goes out. Okay, no, I take the kid back. I'm not sure about that. So let's just leave the kid out of it.
Okay, not okay.
Kid redacted. Not a
Anything that's not facts is redacted.
So Mac Brazel goes and he sees the wreckage of some shit that he does not understand. And he says, I don't understand it. And he takes it to the police. A little bit of it. He saves some for himself.
Found saw something he doesn't understand, so he goes, I don't understand it.
No, I am paraphrasing here. So this isn't the exact transcript.
Confused. He says, I'm confused.
So he takes it to the police. the police don't know what the fuck it is,
Mhm.
so they contact the military. The military is like, we don't know either. So the military is like, but we're gonna figure it out, because if anyone's gonna do shit, it's us. We're the military. So it basically goes up the ladder, the chain of command, and they end up getting someone pretty high up there. I believe it was like an intelligence officer or something, to go down and investigate. And he sees the wreckage, and he sees what he describes as like, they call it memory metal is the term that they coined for it. So it's like this very light metal, sort of as if it's like tinfoil, but it's so strong that it couldn't be broken or torn or ripped with anything. But at the same time, it was like malleable, the same as like memory foam. So you could squeeze it, but then it would like retain its shape after a few seconds. You'd let go of this actual metal that's stronger than anything and can't be broken, and it poofs back up to its original shape. So you can bend it, manipulate it, and it'll go back to its form.
Damn.
And he's like, this is a fucking alien thing. So he calls the newspaper in Roswell, and they publish a story, and they're like, yeah, straight up, there's a flying saucer landed hot in the middle of Foster Farm in June or July.
Sounds like an episode of Drunk History.
It kind of does.
What's up? We got some alien shit.
So that's the first fact.
Yeah.
So here's where things get a little bit freaky.
Yeah.
After that, the crash pieces are taken to Texas, because some higher ups see it, and they're like, show us what this is. They take it down to Texas to study it, and they're like, okay, fuck everything that everyone has said so far, delete it, shut it down.
Yeah.
And they make a second press release, and they issue a new like paper to be put out that says, oh, never mind, it's not aliens, it's a weather balloon. And then they're doing some sketchy ass shit. Is what they're doing. So here's what happens next. Mac Brazel had reported alien bodies at the site, because that's something that he had seen while he was there, and he said that they were like these small little, exactly what you would expect, like your modern like cartoon of an alien.
Yeah.
As well as other people witnessing this and saying this. So he did an interview with a local radio station talking about the aliens mostly, and the government basically never let it air. So they shut it down. And they kind of threatened the radio station. They were like, if this plays, like you're pretty big fucked, my dudes.
Damn.
And so he retracted his statement and said he never saw any aliens. And next thing you know, Mac Brazel's got a brand new pickup truck, and he's leaving his farm and he's going to start a business somewhere else. He's moving away. So he just kind of mysteriously comes into a big sum of money.
Yeah.
After changing his mind about seeing aliens.
He might have struck oil.
And maybe that's what it was. The weather balloon got high enough to where they found an oil meteor. and Mac Brazel was that's a fact for another day. Let's keep going.
We'll talk about the oil meteors next week.
Not only that, but locals were detained and threatened by the government. Mostly as to not talk about the aliens themselves, because they didn't want people knowing there was aliens. That's so another thing is that the local military was authorized to use force and initiate what was quoted from literal military officers as being an information blackout, with focus on people knowing about anything that happened there. So they were authorized to basically go into people's homes and fuck their shit up if any of the information about what happened at Roswell got out.
Damn.
And that's all like actual like kind of common knowledge about it.
Yeah.
That's not even saying there's aliens. That's just like something that was legit a part of it. And so a lot of people were just like, okay, it's a weather balloon, no big deal. Another reason that a lot of people believed it was a weather balloon is because they had basically a picture was released with that secondary memo saying it was a weather balloon. The picture was the person who found it, or the military officer who went to study it, sitting there with a literal weather balloon in pieces in front of him. But there was a statement from a different military officer that was sealed, and it wasn't to be opened until after he died. And what that said was that the crash materials were replaced for that photograph with an actual weather balloon. And he said those were not the materials that were actually at the site. And this is another dude completely. And he said, I don't want anyone to know this till after I'm dead.
Damn.
So not only that, but another weird ass thing is that the Wright Field military chief sees, so Wright Field is like the military base that's closest to Roswell.
Yeah.
And they do like a lot of flights and shit.
Outfielder.
Yeah. So they're like the Wright Field, you know. That's awesome. He sees the crash site, and this is like when it happened.
Yeah.
He sees the crash site and is immediately like leaves and directly gets onto a plane and flies to DC to report to President Truman. And he gets a big promotion. He starts the first, and like he gets the promotion pretty quick. And then like a month later, a few months later, he starts the first official like government UFO investigation called Project Sign out of nowhere.
Damn.
Why would he see Roswell and then immediately decide, oh yeah, the government needs to investigate UFOs if it was a fucking weather balloon?
Yeah.
So
when instead he should just start the National Weather Service in Tulsa.
So it was kind of a dumb move on his part.
Yeah. I mean, look at all the weather he could have been predicting.
So some weird facts that kind of came with this are that everyone who had descriptions of aliens all said the same thing about the aliens. Everyone who had descriptions of the metals and other materials that they found there all had the same descriptions. It all seemed to line up, and it all seemed to make no sense. Now, what some people are saying is that basically the government later on, like way later on, in like the 70s, okay, this was brought back up because so yeah, it happened in 47, and there was all that stuff that happened and no one really talked about it. They're just like, okay, it's a weather balloon, but other people were still skeptic, but they wouldn't come forward. So nobody really talked about it for a long time until 1978. The military officer reveals in an interview that it was not a weather balloon, and that the strange thin metal they found was otherworldly. And after that, more witnesses came forward, and there was like this huge suspected cover-up. So suddenly it's all being talked about again. Well, then the government is like, yeah, you guys are right. It was a huge cover-up, but not for aliens. It was for something else. Something that we were calling Project Mogul, which is that we're going to put a microphone on a weather balloon. The end. So we didn't want you guys figuring it out.
I have a code name because we're wanting to duct tape a microphone to the end of a weather balloon.
Basically, their thinking for Project Mogul was like, whenever you put a microphone under the water, you can hear sounds from like really fucking far away.
Yeah.
So they thought, let's put it up in the air and maybe we can hear explosions because the war is happening somewhere else, and then we'll know. So that's what they say. But like, kind of sounds like bullshit to me. And then in the 90s, that's when a lot of these people are kind of dying off, and you're hearing like statements, and basically the military decides to publish a bunch of reports essentially debunking the fact that there could be aliens there, by saying, listen, the alien bodies people thought they were finding were actually dummies that were dropped in the 1950s. We used to drop these from like tests, for military tests. But that was in the 50s, and this happened in 1947, so the timeline doesn't exactly add up.
Yeah.
And then...
And it was June or July also.
Yeah. Midsummer.
Yeah.
And all the records from Roswell, because they were trying to go back and like get the information so that they could release this stuff. But it was found out that all the records from Roswell from January to October of 1947 were destroyed with no indication of who did it or why. So the government themselves didn't know where that went. And that is kind of the end of like what we know about Roswell, what the public knows. Of course, that's not the end of what me and Dillon know about Roswell.
Of course not.
Because we're here with the actual facts today.
Yeah. Now here's the biggest theory that I see coming through here. A lot of times when it comes to what exactly happened, you got to think of it as like, okay, it's not necessarily a question of do aliens exist or not, but it's a question of can they make you believe that aliens exist to make a profit.
Wow.
Did you ever see how much money the ET made? ET made a lot of money, so they probably were predicting that in the 40s, and they're like, man, what would sure drive tourism here? It's aliens. So what they actually had was a military test product of like a weather balloon, but more of a hot air balloon. Got shot down by the government, whatever reason. Like, oh, this is aliens. And now that's why there's a million different gift shops there.
See, here's the thing, is I would totally call that a fact, but as someone who just personally went there, I will say that they are nowhere near close to fully meeting their potential as far as like being able to capitalize on the aliens there.
Yeah.
There's like some alien stuff, and there's the alien museum, but like they could do a fucking theme park.
Yeah.
If they wanted to cash in on that, they could be like, I don't know, Disney World of aliens.
See, that's what we need to do. We need to cash in on that market. I mean, it's just wait. The government set it up for us. We just got to cash in, The government's like, we don't want you to know about our weather balloon microphones.
Yeah, they fucking underhanded us that, and we didn't even swing.
Exactly.
Motherfuck. That's a good fact.
It's a good thought. I mean, it's what I've heard. I'd say it's a fact. Just knowing the capitalist nature of everything, but I mean, then again, there could be some truth.
That sounds about right. See, here's a fact that I was making up recently.
Making up?
Yes.
Well, that's not a fact.
No, that's a fact.
Okay.
It's a conspiracy fact. So, basically, you have this big, basically, war of thoughts here. Is it a weather balloon? Is it an alien spaceship? Is it aliens? Is it a weather balloon? Which one is it? That's what everyone wants to know. And for me, it is so painfully obvious that I think everyone involved, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how they don't see it. Wake up, sheeple.
Yeah.
It's obviously an alien's weather balloon. They wanted to see what the weather was like above New Mexico.
Exactly. You got to remember, this is 1947. The only thing they had on TV was like awful movies and maybe the Beverly Hillbillies. They didn't have local weather. Their predictions for the weather came out of an almanac. They were trying to invest in new weather technology.
Yeah.
I mean, this is how we got the Doppler developed. Is from this right here. They didn't want us to know about that prematurely because then we're expecting too much out of them. They might think that they can control like monsoons and shit. Use that as like biological warfare.
Wow.
I don't know.
It's
It's some sketchy shit. But it all comes down to just getting down to the cold hard facts.
Yeah, the facts are furious.
The facts are
furious. Facts are real these days.
Facts are real. You gotta just keep up with them.
Yeah. So what if Mac Brazel never found anything?
No. Are we using his traditional name Mac Brazel or his street name of MC Brazel?
MC Brazier.
MC Brazier. Okay, I have a report for Mac Brazel. You mean MC Brazier? Yeah. feel like Mac Brazzle is like a McDonald's menu item.
Yeah.
I'll take the McBrazzle.
The McBrazzle. What would that be?
I feel like it'd be like a shake maybe.
I was definitely thinking a dessert. Yeah.
Yeah, that or I don't think it'd be very good.
No,
but I think it'd be like
something with like Pop Rocks in it or something.
Yeah, exactly. There's a little bit of pizzazz.
It's a shake with Pop Rocks in it.
It's a mixture between no, those are McFlurries. I was gonna say a Blizzard and a fucking pizzazz.
What's a pizzazz?
I didn't mean a pizzazz. I meant some pizzazz. A little this, a little of that. It's a Blizzard with pizzazz. It's a Brazzle.
It's a McBrazzle. It's the same thing. It's just in like a sparkly cup.
Okay, so there we go. That's how MC Brazzle made all his money. It wasn't from some settlement with the government.
You're right.
It was him selling.
He was selling the McBrazzle.
It's 1947. That's about the time that
yeah, a sparkly cup. That's blowing people's minds back then.
Yeah, exactly. Sparkly cup Pop Rocks. I mean, what the hell is this shit? You know, that he just sold out to McDonald's. That's how he, really got his money.
Why are all of our theories like leading back to just McDonald's?
McDonald's is the root of all evil.
We know where they get their beef now. It's under the Denver airport.
In Denver.
we know they're settling with Mac Brazzle.
Yeah.
They must have some alien technology or something.
Whoops, my bad.
That's okay. Dillon simultaneously made his chair squeak very loud and ran over the microphone cord. So if there was
over that?
It's okay. If there was an intense noise, prepare because there's going to be some more within the next few moments. And so I think what might have crashed there was quite possibly
the hopes and dreams of America ever coming out of McDonald's reign.
yeah, exactly. Quite literally
that and we can't dismiss the oil meteor.
The oil meteors could have played a part. What if Mac Brazzle was actually out there? What if instead of being a nice little good rancher boy and doing his ranch job like he was supposed to, he was out there flying his drone? He's doing some real Casey Neistat cinematography up there. He's got some hot SoundCloud beats playing in the background, and he's feeling it. And he gets a little too high, and he hits one of those oil meteors. And it just
in the sky,
splashing everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's what the government's hiding. They don't want people to know you can just get oil out of the sky because they're in this whole thing with other countries probably.
Yeah, it's like what they're probably building. That's what SpaceX actually probably is. Is like, you ever seen Spaceballs where they turn into that giant ship with the vacuum cleaner?
It's been a long time since I've seen Spaceballs.
Their main ship can transform into a lady with a vacuum cleaner, and it sucks all the oxygen out of the earth. That's what they're doing, but with the oil in the sky.
That's probably true.
That is true. That is a fact.
Because how else is Elon Musk going to fuel his Hyperloop? Mm-hmm. He needs the sky oil. And the whole Tesla thing, let's move away from fossil fuels. Yeah. Let's do electric. It's all a front.
What do SpaceX and gas have in common? They both have the letter A in it. It's the same thing. They're going after gas.
That's a fact. So the next thing on our list to talk about is Area 51. And we are going to do that right after these messages. Well, hello, weary traveler. Please step into my shop and see all of the magnificent items I have for purchase. Psych, it's still me, guys. I am here to tell you all about the cool ways that you can support this podcast. First off is my Patreon. I have a tier solely dedicated to supporting this podcast, where previously you could get exclusive downloads of every episode, but now that we are on iTunes, woohoo! All of the downloads are free for everyone. So we are going to find a way to make up for that. But other than that, you do get every single episode early. And now, I believe to make up for the downloads, we are going to be doing an official single episode extra on our Patreon every single month. And we're going to figure out some other extra content to do on there. It's mostly a matter of scheduling with Dillon's job and my job, and trying to figure out what we can do, that can be recurrent. And so yeah, we're going to get on that. But the podcast here is already pretty fucking late. You're going to get early episodes. You're going to get extra episodes. So go check that out. It is $10 a month on my Patreon. And of course, if you just like my content in general, you can go check out my Patreon, because there's all sorts of other tiers where you can, see if maybe you want to support me and what I'm doing in exchange for a little bit of extra shit kicked back to you. So, yeah, thank you to everyone who already supports us on there, and thank you to everyone who goes over there and checks it out. I gotta catch my fucking breath. Next thing I'm going to talk about is my merch store. That is very cool. That has shirts in it, and hoodies, and short sleeve shirts, and long sleeve shirts, and stickers. And guess what, guys? I'm going to be dropping some more stuff over there very soon. I'm planning on bringing back the Trans Pride Flip tee, because a lot of people have requested that. So I'm probably going to be putting that up on there within the week. Maybe by the time you hear this, it'll already be on there. Maybe not. It all just depends. My schedule is really strange right now. I am just starting a new job, so I'm just kind of figuring out what I can do when at this point. So things are a little bit weird time-wise right now, but I'm going to get that all figured out. But yeah, in the meantime, go check out my Patreon. Go check out the merch. And that I will greatly appreciate that. Thank you very much, and let's get back to it. And we are back.
At it
again. Me and my
in black.
friends.
Hit the sack. Been so long. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, exactly. And we're
It's a
just going to go ahead and
actually.
let loose here.
From the goose.
From the goose. So,
Let loose, Mother Goose.
Mother Goose. Yeah. We are talking about Area 51.
Fitty.
Up in this bitch. As they say.
As they do say.
So, Area 51 is a small base in Nevada that has also been sort of known. I was going to say theorized, but I was like, what can I say that actually pertains to facts instead of theories?
It is facts, yeah.
That is factoidized.
Area 51 is there, and it is what you're about to say.
Yeah, which is related to aliens. So it has some suspicious alien activity surrounding it. Mm-hmm. We're going to get into that.
And
so
that's a fact.
First thing you need to know is that Area 51 is a pretty small base. I think it's around takes up about 6 miles. Despite the fact that it is surrounded by a 25 square mile restricted airspace, and so it's this little tiny compound in the middle of this huge space that's totally restricted, and there's a fence around and stuff too. Mm-hmm. It's kind of weird.
Yeah,
kind of weird to me. So it's kind of known for being a nuclear test site and a military technology development base. But it's very secretive. Obviously, if they're testing military technology and trying to come up with new stuff, they want to keep things on the low.
Yeah.
So much so that entering Area 51, everyone that enters is actually flown in from a secret terminal in the Las Vegas airport. And that's just
that's some national treasure shit.
It is. So you take the brick out and you turn the Area 51 key.
Valley Forge, she pushed the E&L twice. That's my favorite line from that movie.
I don't have one. We're going to steal the Declaration of Independence.
That's the only one that I remember, because he's trying to break in, and he's trying to figure out, he sees the fingerprints of where she typed in her password, and they're trying to mess the letters around. He goes, a glove fry.
A glove fry.
It's Valley Forge. She pressed the E&L twice.
Oh my god. So, one does not simply walk into Area 51.
Oh, yeah.
You can't open a gate and get in there. You literally have to be flown in. I think it's possible, but you're probably going to be zapped as soon as you do.
I mean, why else would they have a parking lot? I'm sure they got a parking lot.
So, a lot of people believe that the Roswell aliens and the craft are actually held at Area 51. A lot of people believe that the moon landings were filmed in Area 51.
Ah.
And Area 51 is known as the famous site where they supposedly had the alien autopsy. There was some pictures that surfaced from that.
I've seen those pictures, and there's a video of one, isn't there?
Could be video.
I think I've seen a video. So I watched some sci-fi show on it.
Very neato. So
Crispito.
people have basically the reason it's so like tied to alien stuff. What the fuck is that?
Is that like? Oh,
It's gone now. Sorry, something really weird happened with our waveform, with the recording, but it looks fine now. So if there was just like a really strange
there it goes
noise, it might be some alien interference. You never know.
Yep.
I'll fix it in post. So, yeah, a lot of people have supposedly seen alien crafts flying around that area, like very blatantly flying saucer alien ships over there. But the government has actually had to like release official statements saying like, look, this is what it is. So the first one is something called the U-2 plane, which was supposed to be like a really secret fast plane responsible for like war stuff.
Yeah.
And it could fly really high and really fast, and so it was like weird looking, but they say that's why people thought it was a UFO. But if you see the actual plane, it really doesn't look like a UFO.
Yeah.
It looks like a plane,
Yeah.
as does all the other planes, which is kind of what they always say. They're like, listen, we're testing military technology.
Yeah.
We're fucking with some planes. These are all just planes. But people are like, there's a lot of sketchy ass weird shit going on there. Maybe not.
Yeah.
So there's like a lot of other planes that they've like attributed that to.
Mm-hmm.
But people like every year come out and continually say like there's fucking alien activity around this bitch. And they have also kind of capitalized on that. You can't get anywhere near the facility. Like I said, It's 25 miles square around it that you can't fuck with. But there is like a little cafe outside of like as close as you can get to it, basically. There is a cafe there, and it's like a cute little alien place. And
Oh, yeah, I've seen pictures of that.
yeah, it was on the
Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives.
Yep, with Guy Fieri.
Hey!
Paul, the movie Paul. Did you see that?
No, I didn't. But I know what movie you're talking about.
The alien.
It's like
Seth
10
Rogen.
aliens, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it has the Shaun of the Dead guy in it.
Oh, the redheaded guy?
Yeah.
I can't think of his name.
I can't either. So yeah, that's the deal with Area 51.
Simon
It's really
Pegg.
sure.
Yeah.
It's not that hard hitting as the facts with Roswell, just because it's mostly like he said, she said, mom, wives' tale,
Yeah.
hearsay,
Yeah.
who done it.
Who done it? Got murder in Savannah.
So that's Area 51, and I think that obviously if they have such a small place surrounded by so much land, maybe there's actually more to it than either of the theories suggest.
Right.
Because the facts could be that they're using that land for something totally different.
Well, here's what I've always believed. Okay, so Area 51 doesn't even need to be anything spectacular. It's just how the public perceives them, because we are sheeple, you know? So if we're wasting our time worrying about Area 51, we're not worrying about the other 1 through 50 areas. We're not worrying about the 52 plus areas. We're only worried about Area 51. Where else are those other areas? I mean, come on. We just gotta look at the facts and look at, okay, maybe this isn't where the aliens are held, but it's what they want us to think.
That's so true.
Maybe they have
It's all a front.
Yeah, exactly.
They want us to think that the aliens are in Area 51 so that they can put them in all of the other areas and maybe use all that land at Area 51 for like a big trampoline park.
Yeah.
And that's why people are seeing stuff, because they're jumping so high on those 25 square miles of trampoline. It's going to be a big jump.
It's like why the Pentagon doesn't exist.
I don't understand. I don't follow.
It doesn't exist.
The Pentagon doesn't
No.
exist?
It's all 3D rendered images.
Wow. I didn't know that.
It's a fact.
That's amazing.
Yep.
That's an amazing fact.
I'll fact check it.
And
It's
a fact. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's it doesn't exist. The government is all a sham. We're owned by lizard people.
That's wild.
Yeah. That'll be an episode.
We're gonna have to talk about lizard people in a different one for sure.
We also talk about the Illuminati in our episodes too.
Yeah, we need to do that.
Yeah. No, we always do.
Oh,
Like that was our reference there, and then we mentioned them with Beyonce.
Mm-hmm. Well, lizard people isn't Illuminati exclusive. It's kind of like the whole square can be a rectangle, but a rectangle can't be a square thing.
Gotcha.
Where a lizard person can be Illuminati, but not all Illuminati are lizard people.
Okay. But what if the Illuminati is ran by lizard people?
Very well could be.
Okay.
That's actually a fact. So
yeah. We'll get into that in a future episode.
Yeah. Have you ever had any spooky alien experiences, Dillon?
There was once I was running track and I saw it was like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. I saw like a little dot in the sky, and it was weird because it was a light dot and it was moving. At first I thought it was a plane, and then I like make a lap around the track, and I look up and it was like in the same spot again, like it stopped moving, and then I go one more lap around and it was like completely gone out of the sky. It was weird. Yeah, it was weird. But it could have been an airplane.
That doesn't sound like an airplane.
Yeah, I didn't see the shape of it. I mean, but yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, have you?
Well, it's hard to say definitively, but I do have some kind of weird coincidences, maybe.
Yeah.
Weird facts that happened in my life.
Yeah.
So as a child, as a fairly young child, like I want to say from probably the ages of like 6 to like 9, I had an extreme fear of aliens. And I was convinced, like to the point where, I'm in a religious family and stuff. When we grew up going to church, I asked like even my preacher about it, like, are there aliens in the Bible? And if so, do they take kids and make them pregnant? Like, because I was convinced that aliens were going to abduct me and make me pregnant. And that was my biggest fear, and which is something that I completely fabricated as a child because I'd never seen a movie where that was talked about. I'd never seen anything on TV where it's like aliens make you pregnant. And so that was something that I was very scared of for many years as a child, like to where I couldn't sleep. I was always talking about it. Like my mom was like, you were always fucking freaked out about aliens as a kid. And so, one may think that there's some reason to that. Like maybe I fucking know something. But other than that, I feel like that's kind of weird on its own. The fact that like I was so young and didn't know anything about like alien stuff, but was just afraid. Because there actually are, like now I know looking into it, like there's a lot of stories online of people being like, yeah, aliens abduct you and they make you pregnant and they mess with your DNA. And, I don't know how much of that is facts. All I know are my facts.
Right. But
if other people are saying that, then maybe it is a thing.
It's 100% fact.
So that's a fact now. Yeah. Another thing is that I've always been really weird and like freaked out and skittish about my belly button.
Oh, yeah.
Like anything to do with my belly button freaks me out. If someone touches it, I scream. Like another big fear I had as a child around that time was that my belly button was going to come untied. I don't know where that came from, but I've always been like that. And so my mom jokingly says that like the aliens probed me through my belly button. Could be. Other than that, one time, I don't even know if I've even really talked about this before because it's just like I don't really know what I saw. One time when I was young, I was leaving my grandparents' house, and this is like when I was kind of at the peak of like really being freaked out by aliens. I was leaving my grandparents' house, and when I walked outside, it looked like it was windy, but there wasn't any wind. And like when I looked above their house, I thought I saw like a diamond shape spinning above it.
It was an achievement.
I leveled up. And then I just got in the car really fast and didn't say anything about it ever. Yeah. So I'm not sure exactly what that was, but I mean, it did kind of freak me out, and it might have been aliens, but it also might have just been like, I have no other explanation for it. Yeah. But yeah, I never to myself was like, oh yeah, that's aliens. I was just kind of like, no, that's not real.
Yeah, that's not right. Yeah. No, I get you there. It's I don't know. I mean, I feel like I've been probed a couple times. Yeah, like a lot of people say it's like a heroin bender. Like I just wake up with like fucking track marks.
Oh wow.
But, I mean, no.
Okay.
I'd remember that.
You'd remember that.
Right.
Well.
Right.
Okay. And on that note, do you want to move on to our 80s song?
Yeah.
Let's
talk about we need some kind of theme song for the 80s.
For the every 80s. We'll look into that. We'll get that.
It's a segment called Every 80s Song Pertaining to.
Yeah, it's every 80s song played in order chronologically tells the story of the Wizard of Oz podcast. This is our own special conspiracy fact that we have come up with. And we just sort of said it, so I'm not going to say it again.
So far, there's no evidence that we're not right.
Yeah, you really can't discredit this because it works. So this week's song is Rock With You by Michael Jackson, and we are going to talk about how that pertains to the story of the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Now, I don't remember exactly where we left off last week. I think it might have been at some point on the Yellow Brick Road.
Yeah, last week, okay, Olivia Newton-John, she was talking about the transition to color.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it was the start of the Wizard of Oz. And then, I mean, she talked a little bit about actually seeing the Wizard of Oz.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But not exclusively.
Okay, perfect. So, Michael Jackson, Rock With You. Dillon... and this week we've already listened to it, so we're not going to take a break to listen to it. So if you want to hear the song and then come back and hear how it pertains to the story of the Wizard of Oz, go ahead and pause and do that now. And now we are ready to talk about it. Good job, guys.
Let's talk.
So Dillon, what's your fact?
So far, it's looking like it's going to be like the song, as I said in our break when we listened to the song, it sounds like it's from the perspective of the Munchkins, which is a different perspective from what we've had, which is either Dorothy or an omniscient narrator.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, getting right into it, there ain't nobody there but us, or out on the floor, obviously meaning the Old Brick Road.
Okay.
There ain't nobody there but us. Who else is there whenever she gets there? I mean,
it's always the Munchkins.
The Witch of the East?
No, she's not. I mean, she just kind of comes in our bubble whenever.
Yeah, but the Munchkins are there.
Munchkins
are there. Girl, when you dance, they dance.
They do dance. And it's saying, girl, close your eyes, which is something in the Wizard of Oz. Just to close her eyes and click her heels together.
They do close their eyes to blink.
It's foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Let that rhythm get into you. They're singing her a song. They're so excited she's in their Munchkin town. They're taking her around. They got the Lollipop Guild. And they're like, come on, relax your mind, lay back and groove with mine.
Is it the Lollipop Guild? Like, is it a skilled profession? Or
they are a gang. No, it's the Lollipop Guild, and they are a group of skilled assassins. Actually,
okay,
yeah,
that's a new fact for us.
That is a brand new fact. Lollipop Guild is killers for hire.
Yeah,
murder boys.
Whenever it says, "I want to rock with you all night, dance you into day."
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's them jumping around and dancing because.
Ah, yes, in the passage of time. And if you note that the Wizard of Oz takes place over about a couple days, probably.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what's being laid out right here in this song.
And that's the thing is, like, I mean, even that lyric from the song that I just quoted, because we got so far to go. Because of the wonderful things he does. They're going to the Wizard of Oz, and it is a while away. They got to walk the whole Yellow Brick Road, cause we got so far to go.
That's very, very true.
So this is going to be like the start of the excursion for Dorothy and Toto.
That sounds true.
Yeah, I think coming up in the next few songs, we'll get into when she meets. The Tin Man and the Scarecrow and the Cowardly Lion.
Yeah, I think, if I had to predict what would come next in the songs, I would also predict that it's the next sequential events in the story of the Wizard of Oz.
Typically, if you're telling a story, you tell it sequentially. But, I mean, if you look at, George R.R. Martin says that his books aren't necessarily same amount of time between them. Some things can kind of coincide.
We might have one of those memento cases on our hands.
Yeah,
It's all actually happening backwards.
Yeah, exactly. Or like Pulp Fiction, where it just jumps around in the timeline.
And you never fucking know.
Exactly. What is in the briefcase?
What's in the briefcase?
What's in the box?
What's in the fucking box?
That could be also what's in Denver Airport.
Well,
shout out to past episodes.
Yeah, guys, go check that out.
Go check out the Denver Airport episode.
And I think with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this week's podcast. Guys, so stoked to be on iTunes. So stoked that you guys have been enjoying the previous episodes. We are having a blast making this. If there are any conspiracy facts that you would like us to cover, make sure you leave those in a comment or tweet them at me at Partar400.
Or you can tweet them at me, and I might download the Twitter app.
Dillon doesn't have Twitter, so don't waste your time.
I tweet things I say when I'm high.
Yeah, like you tweet like once a year.
I tweet like once a year. The last thing I tweeted, I think, was we're all dark on the inside in metric tons.
Yeah, it's been at least 1 year, maybe more.
Yeah.
Yeah, check out my Twitter instead and let me know if you guys want something to be covered.
To check out my Pornhub page, that's far more active.
Don't. All right, guys.
But you're welcome to.
Have a wonderful week. Go get you some facts.
All right, all the facts.
All of the facts, and goodbye.
Goodbye.